Hey everyone, I am Robin the Copy Bitch. This is Stewie, my sidekick sloth. And today we are going to talk about examples of time-sensitive subject lines. I'm actually going to get onto Zoom and show you some subject lines that I pulled straight from my inbox, and we'll discuss what works, maybe what doesn't work, and what you should keep in mind when you're creating time-sensitive subject lines for your clients and their email campaigns. Here we go. And we are back talking about time-sensitive email subject lines. Okay, email marketing, subject line, arguably probably the most important piece of the email, because if your subject line fails, no one's going to bother opening and doing what you want them to do next. So I have other blog posts on email marketing, which I'll link to, but for now, we're going to talk about that time-sensitive email subject line where you need someone to act right away. We're going to look at 5 that I plucked from my inbox, and we're just going to talk about email marketing in general, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite go-to tools. So let's get to it. The thing with email marketing that you have to remember, if there were one winning formula, we would all be doing it. And the thing with email subject lines is you have to text your subject lines. Testing subject lines is critical. And there are free tools that you can do it. There are tools baked into a lot of the popular services like MailChimp and HubSpot. So you can do some of that all-important A/B testing to see what resonates with your audience. Because like every other piece of copy you do, you have to start by thinking about the audience you're writing to. What do you want them to do? What sort of language and words tends to resonate with them? And you're not going to know, like if you're just starting with a client, you're going to have to look at data from past email sends, or if they've never done email marketing before, you just have to start and then measure and monitor and pay attention to what's happening. And they're going to be trends. They're going to be trends just overall in email marketing, what's working, what's hot, and then there'll be trends specific to your list. So email marketing is fun. Writing subject lines can be fun because you can be creative and playful. Sometimes straightforward works best though too. So you never know, and you have to do what works best for the audience. You might think, I want to write fun, clever, playful email subject lines that your client loves, but if they don't get the opens and the results and people converting, then maybe your audience just wants something a little more straightforward and clear. So you have to do what the audience is going to respond to and put aside your desire to, write the creative stuff. And I get it, that's hard because you want to be creative, more than likely. That's one of the reasons probably why you got into this. So here, before I go into these examples, I want to show you probably the best person you can follow. Like if you have to follow one person, follow this guy, Jay, and his last name is either Schwedelson or Schwedelson. I've actually never heard it pronounced, but he's very, very well known. So I'm just going to call him Jay. And I apologize, Jay, if I butchered your name, but he is like the email marketing newsletter guru. He knows it inside and out. I recommend subscribing to Jay's Scoop, and I will include the link to this website in the description, and also check out the blog post on my website where I will recap and have this video embedded as well. But definitely sign up for this. You can also access past issues, great read. And then the other thing that you should check out, this is also Jay's subjectline.com is his baby, and it's a free subject line rating tool. And we're going to use it in a second, so you'll see how it works, but this can be your go-to. So if you need like just one person to follow and one tool to use, I recommend doing this. There are others out there, and if you find somebody like that or whatever, like there are other gurus. He's not the only one, but he's really well known. And sometimes you just need to find one person to follow, because otherwise you're just bombarded by so many emails and people to follow, and then you don't end up following anyone and you fall behind. So if you have to pick one person, I would recommend Jay. So we're going to get to that in a second, but let's go back to my inbox. And again, when it comes to email marketing, I would say, the thing about subject lines, length does matter. Short and sweet tend to work better regardless of audience, just because people just need to be able to look at it, understand. So right now, the prevailing wisdom, and this is 2023 when I'm recording this, is fewer than 60 characters. Now, could that change? Sure. And that's why you have to pay attention. Maybe at some point it's going to be like, that's going to be too much. And maybe it'll be 40, or maybe as smartphone screens are starting to get bigger now, in some cases, maybe that'll increase a bit. Who knows? But right now, the prevailing wisdom, under 60 characters, that's like 8 to 9 words max. If you can do it in fewer, that's fine. Tone. And then it comes down to tone and the words you use. Usually action-packed words and verbs can tend to resonate better and get people to open. The other things you play with are punctuation, everything from exclamation points to periods to ellipses to brackets, and then emojis. And here's the thing, there are a lot of business, B2B clients of mine, business to business, who get like kind of skittish around emojis. But the thing you have to remember is that even if you're like in a business receiving a business email, there's a human looking at that email. That's the thing. So it's still a human being who's actually responding to the email. So it's no surprise that studies do show that even in B2B audiences, emojis can be effective. Not with everybody. That's why you have to check, you have to test things, but they can be. So, but then it comes down to the placement. Like, right now, placing your emoji at the beginning of the email tends to be better than placing it at the end. So there's so many different factors. It can be overwhelming. And sometimes you just have to send and see what happens, and know that sometimes you're going to have winners and sometimes you won't. And there are going to be times when you expect something to work great and it doesn't. Other times where, you might have done something on the fly and then it works really well. That's life, and you move on. So right now we're going to talk about the ones that you're seeing in my inbox, hopefully. And today we're specifically talking about time sensitive subject lines. I did another video on "we miss you" email subject lines. So I will link to that in the description so you can check that out in case you haven't missed that. But I'm going to kind of get in the habit of just every now and then doing a video, just looking in my inbox, and we can kind of look together. And I'm not here to trash talk. Like, I'm not here to like rip anything apart because I don't know how these emails performed. So I have no way of saying, this is a great email, and maybe it didn't perform. So, but we can look at, what we think and how it looks, and we can run it through the subject line checker and see, you got to start somewhere. And this is a great exercise to do on your own. So, you might want to create a dummy email address that you just use to subscribe to everything. And then you can just get all these emails and you can just kind of like study the subject lines, study the body copy, and just, set up a separate Gmail account or Yahoo or whatever it is, just so that can be the place that you use to subscribe to everything. And subscribe widely, subscribe to a wide variety of B2B businesses, B2C, different industries. And then you can really get a sense of, hey, that's work, that works. You can create a tickler file of copy that you like and subject lines to check out. It can be really a great way to just learn and keep up, especially if you do a lot of email marketing. And if you're a freelance copywriter, I can almost guarantee, just like blogging, you're going to be doing some email marketing in some capacity. And that might be your only focus. Like if you decide like, hey, you love it, you might just want to really just focus on that. So, okay, let's get to my inbox here. We're going to go in reverse order. So what's funny is that I didn't even realize when I was doing this that I selected like a whole bunch that were just writing related. Not at all surprising since I am a writer, but I didn't do that for any particular purpose. But Grommet is, you might be familiar with the Grommet. It's kind of like a cool online curated shopping style with lots of shopping sites with really interesting products with interesting backstories. And if you were interested in, pursuing further, you can do that. But for now, let's just look at this Grommet email. So trending products alert, 11 hot products selling fast, and fast is in caps, and we have the exclamation point. So again, we're talking about time sensitive emails. I would say that this is effective because, if I'm just skimming through my inbox, fast is probably going to catch my attention because it's in all caps, and I might pause just briefly enough to be like, because we all have this fear of missing out. What am I missing out on if like something's selling fast? And I can look and see it's the Grommet. It might be like, ooh, do I want to check out what's in there? Am I going to be missing something? If it hits me at the right time, like right before someone's birthday or Christmas, that might be a reason for me to pause. So the fact that they talk about trending products, the word alert. Now the word alert can come in and out of fashion. Like I use that a lot right now in my copy, and I'm probably overusing it in terms of my email marketing subject lines. But sometimes that word can be extremely effective, and I put it in around brackets sometimes. And again, you have to test. And then notice where their emoji is. It's at the beginning, not the end. So you have you have the rocket ship taking off. I think this is effective, and we're going to put it through the subject line checker in a second. But I would say, I think that's pretty effective. Now you might be looking at going like, isn't it long? Because this is out of here, it's like the second longest one. So actually I'm going to show you another tool that I use, which is a character counter. I actually have it over here. So lettercount.com. This is free. I use this for so many things. I use it for my meta descriptions. I use it for title tags. I just, take my copy, pop it in here, and then you can count the characters. So I did this one with the trending product alert, and we can count the characters, and it's 57. So they're right up at that, that sweet spot of fewer than 60 characters. So I'm sure they have a team that tested this, and there was a reason why they came in under 60, because they were paying attention to that. So I would say that's okay. It looks long, and it is long. This is probably as long as you'd want to go. That includes the emoji, but I think that's a nice looking subject line. You might have different thoughts, and that's okay. That's the beauty of this. Like, it's not like a math problem. There's no right or wrong answer here. This is just, it's part art, it's part science, and you have to test. And you might think you have a winning subject line, and everyone at the client side might think that too, and then you test it and it bombs. You just sometimes don't know. Like I said, if there was a formula, we would all be following it. It's not like baking a cake. So let's go back to my inbox. I know I'm talking fast. I tend to do that. I'm trying to get better at that. That's just me. I get all excited. All right. So this one is last call, final hours for 40% off K&D promotions. This is for Kindle Nation Daily. I do freelance fiction writing on the side, and this is just one of the services where they are always running promotions, so you can, promote your novels on Kindle, etc. So I think this, gets people's attention. Brackets tend to, again, there's studies that show that brackets can be extremely effective. Some people like them, some people hate them. And you'll always find debate and controversy, but I think it makes things stand out, especially when it comes at the beginning. It catches people's attention, because as you're skimming, it's going to catch your eye and make you just pause, even if it's just like a millisecond, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, last call, what is this? So I have to pay attention. So that, I think, could be effective. And then it's reinforced by saying the final hours. And this is seems like a big number for a discount. I don't know what the actual price is, but a pretty big discount. So that could possibly get my attention. And we know it's shorter than the 60 characters because it's shorter than this. So I'm not even going to put it through the ringer. You know what? We didn't even look at this. So we can look in here to see. This particular video that I'm doing is not about the inside and the body copy. We're just talking about the email subject lines, but it can't hurt to just kind of scroll down so you can see how they do things. Because this is very much a B2C, consumer oriented company, and very much about, cool products. So they have the picture, they have animated GIFs, and then they have some details. They use lots of bold and highlighting. So again, they're assuming people are skimming, just like what I'm doing right now. And then you can buy the products. So a lot of copy in this one, but I think their audience, I think this probably is effective for the grommet audience, because it is very much, they're about that curated experience. Like, they know that grommet's not going to be like promoting, 5 different, types of, sheets. It's going to focus on like the special sheets you need for your bed because it's so special and it's done in a special way. So it's very much of a curated experience. So I think that actually probably for their readership makes sense. We can look in this one if we want. So yeah, again, we have the, if you download pictures here. But again, it just reinforces the message. It has the coupon code in red, so it really jumps out if you want to take advantage of this, and then gives the detail. Very, very simple. This is just text-based. It has but yeah. All right, so let's go back here. I'm not even sure what craft is. Something I subscribe to, some sort of publication, but it's the last day, and I can win a short fiction prize, $2,800. So, last day to submit by 11:59 p.m. So their preview line reinforces their subject line. Boom. Again, time sensitive. It's making it very clear that this is it, and reinforced by the preview line. I think, that probably is effective. We should probably talk about preview lines, because that is exactly what I'm looking at here. It's a snippet of text, and this is important on smartphones especially, that shows up and kind of reinforces. Notice how short that is. Very, very short, just the details. your preview line is supposed to be actually very, very super short. This one's kind of long, I think. See our most popular April discoveries before they sell out. But again, it's reinforcing what you're hearing in the subject line about selling out fast. Might be a little, I don't even know if they need the word April necessarily, but maybe that's part of their thing. This also, I think, is kind of long, but they're trying to get all the details in, including the coupon code, which is probably a good idea because if someone decides not to open the email, maybe they're so familiar with this website, they know what to do next and they just go immediately there and buy. So that might be a smart way for them to do it. So now let's look at this one. So book pipeline, deadline today for scripts. And notice they have the wide eye emojis, the googly eye emojis at the end, which I often do in my subject lines that I come up with for clients. And now I'm starting to learn that maybe I need to try putting in here and experiment more with that. But again, the emojis that totally catches your attention, and particularly the googly eyes tends to be a popular one. People get it. You're not like squinting, being like, what is that? Is that a turkey? What, there's some emojis that we see and we all just about all of us know and can recognize and get what it means. And again, the preview line reinforces it, and they have an emoji there too. This has an emoji too in there. Calendar emoji, it looks like, I think. This is a handwriting, I think. All right, and then this one, the reason why I included this in here is because, first of all, it's long. So we know that this one does come in longer than the 60. You can just tell from this since we just measured this one in letter count. But this one, I have a feeling I probably received this email before, and they're resending it with, if you don't know what this acronym stands for, it stands for in case you missed it. So I have a feeling they're probably thinking, go long or go home. Like if I didn't open the first one, they're trying to get my attention with this one, using the all caps, the acronym. So they're probably willing to go a little bit longer, or maybe they just didn't check it or they don't care. I don't know. But I think that's kind of like, it's less time sensitive, but it's more like, hey, in case you missed it, this is your last chance to catch this great piece of content that we did. So here you go again. And there you have it for those. So now what we're going to do is actually look at, let's put this one through subjectline.com and see what shows up. Actually, you know what? No, let's do the one with the emoji at the end because I'm curious to see. So let's do the book pipeline one, this one. Let's do this one. Copy, and let's go to subjectline.com. I'll show you how it works. You just enter it here. Deadline today for scripts. And see what comes up. Evaluating. So subject line scored a 100 out of 100, but then don't let that score deceive you because it tells you the marketing results. So you can go in and dig deeper. So notice how it pings me, or pings the subject line for having the emoji at the end, because right now emojis at the beginning of the subject line tend to be a little more effective, or more effective, I shouldn't say little, than coming at the end. So it took off 9 points there. But it contains an emoji character, so it's almost kind of like a wash. So Lisa had that, contains the word today, because again, for time sensitive subject lines, that can be a really good word. And then you get this, great job, your subject line meets industry standards. But then look what it does. It actually gives you some options using AI. Gotta love it, right? Of some other ones that you might want to try. So notice how it moved the emoji of an alarm clock to the beginning. Only a few hours left to submit your script. Only a few hours left to submit your script. Time's up. Your script is due today. Suspenseful with the ellipses. So that's how that works. And I'm going to do, I was actually going to show you a couple of subject lines that I'm playing with for a client. So the client is a marketing firm that caters to the senior living industry. So that caters to marketing departments in the senior living industry, like at senior living communities. And we just wrote a blog post about ChatGPT. So we're sending a newsletter trying to get people to read this content. So as you can see, and again, this is less time sensitive, but just wanted to show you some ones that I've been working with. I tend to use the brackets with alert inside. So let's actually do this one. This one doesn't have an emoji, so they might ping me for that, but let's see what comes up. No, I'm not trying to, just let me get down here. Enter my subject line here. Let's evaluate it. All right. Again, don't let that 100. So it has, so this is interesting. Cautionary, it's tagging, contains any word that has more than 8 characters. So something to keep in mind. It is a long word, you know, so again, you want short words. I think the word cautionary tale is, I might dispute that, but that's not a bad piece of advice. Needs subtle urgency, 14 points, contains the word alert. So again, the alert is starting to go down. There were a time when the word alert was helpful and not so much now. Use of parentheses or square or curly brackets. You get 21 points for that because brackets do work. And first character is a symbol or punctuation, one word in subject line all caps, contains punctuation. So now let's see what it's suggesting. This seems rather long, so I don't think so. This could be the last time you use ChatGPT. That's kind of interesting. Oh, I like this too. Like, that's interesting too. Important, don't use ChatGPT. Yeah, so that's interesting. Some interesting ones to play with. So there you have it. Like you can use this and play with things and get other ideas. You know what? ChatGPT can actually be good for helping you brainstorm other versions. Like you could feed it your version of your subject line and ask it to come up with like 10 other ways and see what it comes up with. So there you have it though. I think I've made this video long enough, so I'm going to stop. I think you get the gist. Subjectline.com, great place, great tool to use. Mr. J here, his scoop, you want to subscribe to that. Again, I will include links in the description. And then lettercount, lettercount.com is the tool I use where I just, can count characters very, very easily. I usually keep this open when I'm doing something where I need to count characters a lot, whether it's like email subject lines or meta descriptions or title tags or what have you. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and I'm going to turn it back over to myself and Stewie. And there you have it, time-sensitive email subject lines. That's a mouthful. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please give us a thumbs up because that helps us out. I am Robin the Copy Bitch. This is Stewie, my sidekick sloth. And we'll see you next time. Bye.